Hi, I'm Kim R. Ford, Team Rayceen Productions co host and moderator.
And I'm Erin Palmer, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator.
Joining us is Markus Batchelor. Hey, Markus, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? Great to be with you all. It's a great reunion today.
Thank you for joining us, Markus. And before we talk about your 2024 primary election campaign to represent Ward 8 on the DC Council, please tell our viewers a little bit about your background and who you are.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, my name is Markus Batchelor, and I'm a son of Ward 8. So I was born and raised here in Ward 8, born at United Medical Center, which was back then Greater Southeast Community Hospital, and was raised by a working class family here in Congress Heights. My mom currently works as a home health aide, but she worked in early childhood education when I was growing up. My father, who passed away when I was 10, is a veteran, was a veteran and a postal worker. My grandfather worked at Safeway for 40 years on a union job. And so really was raised by a great family, but I often tell people that what supplemented that was the love and support of a caring and concerned community. And so at the young age, I got an opportunity to get involved in organizations like the Marion Barry Youth Leadership Institute and the Ward 8 Democrats, which gave me an opportunity not just to learn about civic life, but to lead in my community. Yeah, I'm a graduate of our public schools. When I was at Thurgood Marshall Academy, where I graduated high school, it was when I really started getting engaged and have been involved ever since. I got to serve as an advisory neighborhood commissioner here in Congress Heights for a term where I brought neighbors together of 30 years and 30 days to build community, to improve city services, and to fight for our values. I went on to serve 4 years on the State Board of Education for Ward 8, where I fought for more accountable schools, for the fair funding that our students, our educators, that our schools needed to thrive and to work on long-lasting solutions that not just made schools hubs for high-quality education, but for the things that we know communities need as a whole. And I'm running for the Ward 8 Council seat now because I think we're at a unique time where we need to put all of that experience that I've been able to have, but also all of the perspective that I had, the need for a beloved community, the need for a government that reflects the best of who we are. All of that needs to come together at this critical moment. So I know the follow-up question will be why I'm running, but I think my story is really a core part of why I'm seeking the Ward 8 Council seat.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth. Why don't you tell us more about why you are running for council and why you've chosen to run now?
Yeah, so where I ended on the last question is really a part of part one. And there are really three big reasons I'm running. One is because I love Ward 8, because it is a community that has given me the opportunity to pursue my dreams, that gave my family the opportunity to plant roots and build wealth and build a legacy. We're not wealthy, but to build generational wealth, to buy a home, to be able to raise a family, get a quality education all at the same time. Um, and all of the opportunity that I've been given over my life, I've been trying to, in my adult life, really pay that forward. And so both in my private work, but also through public service, have worked year after year to really close gaps that I know so many people in my community helped close for me. The second reason I'm running is because I believe that Ward 8 now in 2024 is at a crossroads, that inequality is deeper than it has been ever before, that despair is more widespread than it's ever been before, and the consequences of that are manifesting themselves. We're seeing record homicide and violent crimes in communities in which Ward 8 is bearing an unequal brunt. We're seeing gaps in healthcare, drop life expectancy for Ward 8 residents, which in some neighborhoods, including my census tract here in Congress Heights, is 30 years less than some census tracts in Northwest DC. And so there's so much work we have to do, and the stakes in this election couldn't be higher. With the conversations happening around public safety, around education, around all of these critical issues that we know won't just dictate the district's future for the next 4 years, but quite frankly, for the next 40, need urgent addressing right now. And I think that third, I can provide the transformative leadership that Ward 8 needs to get it done. I think I've been able to prove it over 6 years in elected office, but also working on the ground at organizations like the Far Southeast Collaborative, working to fill gaps for our families in need, working at the Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services, providing constituent service that touch people in ways that government hadn't in many respects before, and working with young people at organizations like the Marion Barry Youth Leadership Institute, knowing the unique needs that young people have to thrive, the unique barriers that young people have, the unique pitfalls they fall into, including violent crime, but also all of the things that make opportunities like mine possible, and what we can do to improve their lives. And so I want to help advance that conversation on the council, and that's the message we're taking to voters over the next few months.
Great. Marcus, can you tell us, we just had the image on the screen that said One Ward 8, if you can talk about what that means, and then also tell us about your top 3 issues.
Yeah, so One Ward 8 is our mantra that we adopted, and it really has a double meaning. One Ward 8 is both a reality and an aspiration. We are right now One Ward 8. We are unique among the entire city. We are, in my opinion, DC's arts capital and sports capital and Black Wall Street, and all of these things that not just make our communities vibrant, but make the entire city vibrant. And I think that we need leadership that's willing to celebrate that, that wants to invest in that, and that sees that as something worth preserving, especially when so much of that is under attack. The other part of One Ward 8 is who we want to be, and quite frankly, who we need to be in this moment, more united, to have leadership that's willing to bring us together to solve our toughest issues, that's going to focus in on solutions-based governance and legislating, that's not going to nibble around the edges, but that's going to run urgently towards the big issues, and not just somebody who's going to go and say, I can singularly do that, but somebody who's invested and quite frankly has the experience of organizing neighbors to make change themselves. I think if we're going to win not just this election, but quite frankly, the next decade for Ward 8, it's going to take a shift, not just in who sits on the dais at the Wilson Building, but how we organize communities, how communities see themselves, and how we as citizens see ourselves as a part of the decision-making process. We were able to do that when I was on the State Board of Education in really transformative ways for students and parents and teachers who felt like they didn't have a voice. And I think that we can use the council in a similar way to get to the core of issues, and make sure that people can make change and that they see real change coming from government.
And so if you can also tell us about your top 3 issues and why you're the best choice for the voters.
Yeah, so I have a 5-point plan, but I'll try to condense it into 3. We're calling it the Peace Plan: public safety, education, affordable housing, constituent service, economic opportunity. But obviously, one of the reasons it's dubbed the Peace Plan is because of the #1 issue that Ward 8 residents are focused on right now, which is crime. And the Peace Plan, I think, is our commitment to tackle violent crime in all of these intentional ways and all of these necessary ways that we know will break not just our current bout of violence, but that will break the cycle of violence long term. These are things that Ward 8 not only needs, but deserves, and it's our commitment and vision from the council. So public safety being first and foremost, we need systems that work. We need to talk about how to right size our criminal justice system so that it is more just, but that it's also more effectively and efficiently achieving justice for victims. We need to talk about a police department that is solving less crime year over year than it has before, and how we make that system more efficient. We need to talk about how we make our system of violence interruption more efficient, not just to throw dollars at it, but to scale it, to invest in it, to give it the resources it needs to meet the moment. We know it's possible, right? Baltimore is just held a press conference where they had the largest year-over-year reduction in homicides in the city's history. And the mayor was flanked by violence interrupters who he said made that work possible. So the idea works. We have to get the implementation right here. The second big issue, clearly, as a former member of the State Board of Education, is education. And I think that we need to have a council member who's focused on making good schools the center of good communities, who believes that every family in our community deserves a quality neighborhood public school that they can walk to in their community, and that's going to hold government accountable to doing that. I have a record of doing that on the State Board of Education, and I want to double down on that work on the council. And then I probably say the big one is, the other big one is affordable housing. That means that we need to revolutionize the ways in which we produce housing to the need, so that we're building for folks who need housing the most, especially our lowest income residents. But it's also about, and I'm trying to wrap in economic opportunity here, but it's also about how we raise wages for folks, so that the cost of living isn't so consuming, so that so many folks aren't paying over 35% or over 50% of their income for housing. So all of those things I want to focus on from the council, but I think that's kind of my big three.
And Marcus, why are you the best choice in this race?
Yeah, so I think I tried to encapsulate before that I think we need now more than ever a leader with two things. I think one is the right perspective, and I think, my Ward 8 story is how I like to categorize it. I think is important on the council now more than ever when we're seeing, Black political leadership in so many respects that's rooted, especially in poor communities, be marginalized in our city. I think it's important to have folks who come from a working class family who's a tenant, who went to our public schools, who quite frankly doesn't have a post-secondary degree, who has these sets of experiences that are unique, quite frankly, among the council right now. I think we need more of that leadership there, but we also need folks with the right experience. And so I talked about my 6 years in public office, but not just being there, but getting things done on behalf of residents and lifting up people's voices in a way that hadn't happened before. And I think that if given the opportunity to do that on the council, not on issues, not just like public education, but on issues like housing and education and constituent service, we can really improve the quality of life for Ward 8 residents.
Marcus,
Great, and something real. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Kim.
No, I was going to say something really specific. When does voting begin?
Yeah, so the last day of the election is June 4th, but ballots will start going out around the last week of April. And so folks should check their mailboxes and begin voting as soon as you get them. Make sure to mark Markus Batchelor, fold it up, put it in a drop box back in your mailbox. But we'll have the last day to vote will be June 4th.
Great. Markus, in our remaining moments, please tell our viewers where they can learn more about you and how to support your campaign.
Yes, so the only way we can build One Ward 8 together is if we win this election together. And so I ask you to learn more about our campaign, learn more about me, find events where you can come and engage with neighbors and get active with us. Go to oneward8.com, connect with us on social media. At One Ward 8, donate to our campaign. We are in the fair election system where we are only receiving $50 max per person. And so every dollar does count, and DC residents get matched 5-1. So thanks so much, y'all. I appreciate it.
No, thank you so much, Markus. We're so happy to have you. Viewers, please look in the description below for the links. And we wish you all the best of luck.
Thanks so much.
To those watching, please follow Team Rayceen on social media and subscribe to the Team Rayceen YouTube channel.
Viewers, thank you for watching.